We got another Democrat down. And this is on the heels of the Epstein debacle where the Democrats tried to say, oh, it was Trump, but we're finding out it was the freaking entire almost Democrat party in cahoots with him. This is also on the heels of the Baltimore Democrat who was busted videotaping her opponent and attempting to blackmail them out of the race. If you're not familiar with that one, be on the lookout because I got a story coming. But now we got another one who was busted stealing millions of dollars, U.S. taxpayer dollars. And guess what? Her roots weren't based in America. She is what we would call an anchor baby from Haitian parents. So as I get off into this story, not only the millions of dollars that she stole, but also the scam that she pulled off to get elected in the first place. So we're going to go through this video and I'm going to show you clips. You may not have even heard this story because the lamestream media, they're trying to keep this under wraps because this looks horrible for the party. Another Democrat busted stealing, lying to their constituents and playing in everybody's faces. She was sworn in by Pelosi and all of them loved her. Wait till you see who she's connected to. It will all make sense. And I'm going to show it to you in this video. So make sure you watch because her getting busted is just one more chink in the armor of the Democrat domino set that's falling down big time. So check this out. So as you see in the article title, U.S. Congresswoman charged with stealing $5 million in federal disaster funds from FEMA. She stole from FEMA. And as a Floridian myself, shameful on her, knowing that we in hurricane season and at any given time, one of these storms come through and guess what? She's taking millions that could help save somebody's home, save somebody's life, put somebody up somewhere where they can eat and have shelter. These demon rats can care less about people. She also was one of the ones that voted against the government reopening. Go figure. But let's go with this. A Florida congresswoman has been charged with stealing $5 million in federal disaster funds. Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is accused of laundering some of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA money, into her 2021 election campaign. The 46-year-old Democrat is under investigation by the House of Representatives Ethics Committee and could be expelled from the chamber. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a particularly selfish, cynical crime. In a statement, Ms. Cherfilus-McCormick, who was elected to Congress in 2022, maintained she was innocent and vowed to clear her name. She faces up to 53 years in prison. The fraud was allegedly carried out through a healthcare company operated by the Congresswoman and her brother, Edwin Cherfilus, 51, who is now accused. Miss Cherfilus-McCormick was chief executive of the family firm Trinity Healthcare Services at the time. The company had won a FEMA contract to register people for COVID vaccines, but in July 2021, it received an overpayment of $5 million in federal funds, according to the Justice Department. The siblings allegedly tried to disguise the money's source by routing it through several accounts and eventually used a substantial portion on her congressional campaign, which she only won by 5 votes. Stole all that money, facing 53 years in prison, won by 5 votes. And again, wait till you hear about what she did in that election. I'm going to show it to you. Ms. Cherfilus-McCormick and another person named in the indictment allegedly diverted funds from the FEMA contract to friends and relatives who donated money back into her campaign as personal contributions, prosecutors said. And we know this is happening with Democrats utilizing the Act Blue app, allegedly. You got somebody running over here in Maine, and they'll take money that people are contributing to somebody in Montana and divert those funds and put it over there. You have people that are wealthy that'll get what they call straw men and women, and they'll give them money to donate to this candidate. They don't care about the candidate. They're just funneling money through because you only have so much that you can contribute as an individual or as a business. But matter of fact, rather than me doing all this jaw-jacking and talking, let me let you meet Sheila McCormick, Miss Sheila McCormick. Now, I want you to listen to this ad that she put out working with Nancy Pelosi when they created this. Check this out.
Under My People's Prosperity Plan, if you are over 18 and make less than $75,000, you'll receive $1,000 a month with no strings attached. As your Congresswoman, I will fight the special interest so you can start receiving $1,000 a month. To learn more, go to peoplesprosperityplan.com.
So what it is as she's running for Congress, she's telling voters that, if she gets elected, her prosperity plan is going to make it to where they give $1,000 a month to people making less than $75,000 a year. Another one of these socialist wet dreams promoted by Democrats to ignorant voters, because her district here in Florida where she's at, that's deep blue, it's black. Okay, so she's feeding it to people that are struggling economically, they're poor, and say, hey, if you vote for me, you're going to get $1,000 back. But here's the problem. It didn't work. Not only did it not work, she was sued And check this out right here. Second place candidate in the CD20 primary election filed suit against results. The loser by 5 votes, Dale Holness, is alleging the winner's promises to voters amounted to a bribe. The second place finisher in the special Democratic primary for Congressional District 20 has filed litigation contesting the results, alleged the winner misled voters with promises of money. Dale Holness, who resigned from the Broward County Commission to run for the seat vacated when L.C. Hastings died in office, is contesting his loss to Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick. Holness lost by just 5 votes to Cherfilus-McCormick. In addition to going after Cherfilus-McCormick, Holness is suing the Broward Supervisor of Elections, Joe Scott, the Broward County Canvassing Board, and the Elections Canvassing Commission, which is in charge of canvassing the returns of all congressional elections. Let me get right here. In the 21-page suit raises numerous issues. Chief among the allegations, however, is that Cherfilus-McCormick falsely promised voters in the majority black district that a ballot cast for her would put money in their pocket. That is in violation of Florida statutes that forbid offering money to secure votes. And let me tell y'all, it was so bad that when people were there voting, they really wanted to know, hey, can I get my check right after the vote? They thought they were going to get $1,000 that night that she won. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a donation, or a super chat. You hitting that like button is more than enough. It helps get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And you make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. Make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. And I'm right here with it. At all times relevant to this action, Cherfilus-McCormick knew this promise was a gimmick designed only to motivate people to vote for her, the suit says. Cherfilus-McCormick misled voters to the extent that several voters believed that they will be picking up $1,000 check on election day. In fact, immediately after voting, several voters presented to the supervisor of election staff, personnel, and campaign workers requesting how they were to receive their $1,000 payment for voting. So this lady during the campaign, after stealing $5 million, decides that she's going to tell the voters, hey, listen, you vote for me, we're going to do this People's Prosperity Plan where everybody under 75 gets $1,000 a month. Here's the kicker, though. Where they going to get the money from? Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to fund that? And why do they deserve that? Under what conditions? But I'm not going to talk about that too much. Check out this news story that really breaks it down.
McCormick facing charges and responding to them today after being accused of stealing millions in federal disaster money.
We have new reaction out of Washington to those charges and word she is already stepping down from a committee leadership position. We have team coverage here at noon on this indictment.
We're going to start things off with Local 10 Syra Onward. She's live in Miramar with the brand new statement that's coming out from the Congresswoman herself.
We're outside of the FBI office here in Miramar. Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick officially charged now by the Department of Justice, who says she used her family's health care company to steal $5 million in federal funds. Here's a live look outside of her office in D.C. right now. She's a U.S. Congressional representative representing an area of Fort Lauderdale, Lauderhill, parts of West Palm Beach. She was elected a couple years ago. She won that election just by 5 votes. It was a special election held after the death of Representative L.C. Hastings. Again, she is now officially charged for this crime. A federal grand jury indicting Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick and a number of her associates, accusing them of stealing millions of federal disaster funds, laundering that money, and using part of it to support her 2021 congressional campaign.
The money we invested was to make sure that we can touch the people in the community, but the money didn't determine this election, because most people who put a lot of money in the community, in the campaigns, they don't win.
Federal prosecutors say Cherfilus-McCormick and her brother Edwin Cherfilus ran a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract through their family health care company. Prosecutors say in July of 2021, the company got a $5 million overpayment. Prosecutors say the group diverted that money and tried to hide it through multiple accounts. The indictment says a big portion of those funds was used for campaign contributions and personal expenses. Prosecutors allege the South Florida Democrat and Nadege LeBlanc arranged more donations through straw donors, funneling money to friends and relatives who then donated to the campaign as if they were using their own money. Investigators say the Congresswoman, with the help of her tax preparer David Spencer, filed a false federal tax return, allegedly disguising political spending and personal costs as business deductions. Representative Cherfilus-McCormick putting out this statement this morning saying, quote, "This is an unjust, baseless, sham indictment and I am innocent. The timing alone is curious and clearly meant to distract from far more pressing national issues. From day one, I have fully cooperated with everyone
every lawful request, and I will continue to do so until this matter is resolved. I am deeply grateful for the support of my district, and I remain confident that the truth will prevail. I look forward to my day in court. Until then, I will continue fighting for my constituents.
Now, is it me, or do all of these Democrats always love to use the word baseless? Like Letitia James, it's baseless. Or is it just the Democrat black women, when they get busted, they love to act like it's a sham? Now, let me show you who she's in cahoots with. Okay, this is her. And as you can see, she lost a whole lot of weight from 2021 when she got on, and now she's on that Ozempic special. And you see what she is. Now, there she is with Ilhan Omar, the radical Somali out of Minnesota. Then you got Jill Biden, the wife of the once demented former president of the United States. So she's keeping in the typical company that we would expect from somebody who was busted stealing $5 million and trying to bribe voters with $1,000. On the heels of Democrats stealing FEMA money, trying to get subsidies to extend the horrific Obamacare, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter, because right now is open enrollment for insurance and seniors. If you're on Medicare or if you're exploring your Medicare plans, I highly encourage you to reach out to Chapter because they've been doing an excellent job helping seniors make sure they got the best Medicare plan available. And a phone call that can last less than 20 minutes. That's totally free. Chapter has unbiased professional agents to make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available. Wouldn't it suck to find out next year you've been paying into a plan, your doctor's no longer in network when you need them, and your prescriptions are no longer covered? So it's at least worth a phone call. All you have to do is call the number there on the screen or visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics and let the Chapter professional agents help you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available. Protect yourself today. Call Chapter. There she is. Look at that, with Senator Coons, who is also a Democrat shield, leftist radical butt kisser. And of course, we got Scamala Harris. Looks like they're all on, what is it, Airplane 2 or whatever you call the vice president's plane. Once again, we are reminded that no American is above the law. Over the course of 2023, the former president has now been indicted 4 times. And this takes a lot of cojones from somebody like her, who has stole $5 million and tried to bribe voters to get online to try to say something against President Trump. But that's how these demon rats are. Oh, and the coup de grace, look at her. Look at her with Demented Joe as he holds and poses with her so inappropriately, as he always does. Joe Biden is a creep. There's no way I'm going to let some random man, I don't care who he is, take a picture with my wife like that. But she is a miss, not a missus, which means 9 times out of 10, she's an angry black woman who they put in a position of power, who feels like people owe her something. Those black folks in their district, they owe her and need to suck up to her. I'm willing to bet you that's got to be the mentality when you steal from your constituents and you lie to them. As a matter of fact, check out this clip where she does the black Democrat go-to card. You know what that is? Whenever they get busted for a crime, it's racism. Check this out.
Forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation. Look forward to my day.
Now, the district could get what they need, especially if a hurricane comes, but oops, they'd be $5 million short. And these folks trip me out. As a black man, I'm going to say it, because I know a lot of folks of other races, they don't like, if you, and even in our race, you criticize a black woman, oh, you're misogynist, you're sexist, you're putting the black woman down. They create all of these fake things. Oh, black women are most educated. Amongst who? Yeah, if you're going against other dudes from the hood that might not have went to school, but amongst all women, black women are the lowest on the totem pole, but talk the biggest and the loudest. And I love black women. My mother's black, my daughter's black, my granddaughter's black. This ain't about that. This is about these black politician women who use their skin tone or their sexual gender or preference as leverage to say, hey, I could do what I want. And if you criticize me, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a sexist. And that's bullcrap. She's a thief too. Let's put thief on that. So now let's check out this. Now, on the heels of all of this and all that big talk about her day in court, let's look at how she deals with the media when they step to her just for a simple conversation. Check this out.
She was back in the district at this event. We tried again.
I also wanted to ask you about the investigation into your families, but this is also part of her congressional duties. Congresswoman, you're under investigation for the congressional ethics for violation of campaign finances. Congresswoman, this is your district. You have to answer to these people. Congresswoman,
Attorneys for her family's healthcare company aren't answering the I-Team's questions either. And the Department of Emergency Management says they won't comment on ongoing litigation, leaving taxpayers and her constituents wondering what happened to those millions. She was back in the district at.
So as you see, all of that big talk, soon as somebody confronts her, she wants to run away. But let's look at some of the posts and some of the tweets that she put up about the president. Matter of fact, let's look at this one when another reporter runs up to her and look at how she tries to brush him off. But he wasn't really going for it.
And protect all of our citizens here. We would love to have that conversation. But once that's resolved, then we can have that conversation. But right now, we can't have it. So we'd love to talk to you more about that.
Why don't you
But we
speak to
have
us
some
right now? We've been trying to get answers about this for a long time.
We can't talk about it right
I
now.
also wanted to ask you about.
So as you see, that man, this is the same clip we just saw. That man was trying to ask her questions. She's running away, trying to avoid it, and all that good stuff. But she was just doing all of that big Willie talk. But look at these posts that she had the nerve to put up. With former President Trump having been indicted, we are reminded that no American, not even the president, is above the law. These Democrats are going to hate the day that they ever kept using that. And ain't it funny that every one of them that came out and publicly stated that no one's above the law crap, or all criminals are being indicted now? Comey put 8647. He's indicted for perjury and then creating the Russia hoax and working to freaking trap the president with a honeypot. Letitia James. No one's above the law. 46 days before she goes to try to take a civil suit against the president, she commits mortgage fraud on a home in Virginia that her niece now lives in, that's running an OnlyFans page and has a warrant out for her arrest from the state of North Carolina. And I can go on and on and on. Fannie Willis, while she's banging her lawyer boyfriend that she paid $1 million to, who had no RICO law experience. No one's above the law, right? She's ignoring subpoenas left and right. Bill and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton said it. Now she's ignoring subpoenas from Congress to come and testify or give a deposition on Epstein. So the Democrats are always about rules for thee and not for me. But that's just one of her posts. These are the other ones. This serves as another reminder that no American is above the law. Once again, we are reminded that no American is above the law. Over the course of 2023, the former president has now been indicted 4 times. SCOTUS's decision this week sets a dangerous precedent that erodes the very freedoms and protections that define our democracy. As we celebrate July 4th, we must uphold our constitutional principles of justice, ensuring that no one, not even a former president, is above the law. You know, so this lady's a joke. You're a joke. Now, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when the lamestream media brings out Gail King to dog out a Democrat or report a negative story on a Democrat. But she did, and we here for it. Check this out.
The Justice Department has indicted a Florida Congresswoman alleging that she stole millions from Fema. Her name, she's a Democrat, Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, is accused of taking $5 million in agency funds to use for her political campaign. Scott McFarland has the story.
I'm Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, Democrat for Congress.
When Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick was running for a seat in the U.S. House,
she's had a massive weight loss, right? Y'all think it's Ozempic or is that a diet? Leave it in the comments. Think it's Ozempic or a real diet?
in 2021, the Department of Justice says the Democrats stole $5 million in COVID-19 disaster funds to support her congressional campaign. A federal grand jury indicted Cherfilus-McCormick and several co-defendants Wednesday. Prosecutors allege a healthcare company she ran with her brother was overpaid $5 million in FEMA funds for a vaccination staffing contract. They say the company received that money in July 2021, and Cherfilus-McCormick used it for her campaign. The funds were routed through multiple accounts to disguise its source, they say. And a portion of the money was funneled to friends and family who donated to the campaign. It's the latest legal battle for Cherfilus-McCormick, who's already under investigation by the House Ethics Committee for campaign finance violations, including misreporting the source of a contribution. In a statement, Cherfilus-McCormick called the case a, quote, sham indictment, insisting she is innocent. Cherfilus-McCormick faces the prospect of prison time if convicted, but Gail, we're still waiting to see the court filing submitted by the Department of Justice in the Southern District of Florida.
To be continued. Scott, thank you very much.
So there you have it, folks. This entire party is corrupt, and they project. While they're talking all that no one's above the law crap at President Trump, all of them, a lot of them were breaking laws, committing crimes, stealing taxpayer money, living it up, loving the shutdown while they were getting paid, enjoying time with their family, while other people were panicking and freaking out, wondering if they was going to be able to put food on the table for their family. And see, I'm sick of playing the game where people try to say, oh, you know, we got to have this decorum. And, you know, not. I've had people on my social media that say to me, especially since this whole Epstein thing blew up, Brian, you know, you never say anything bad about President Trump. And my thing is, why should I join in? Y'all do enough bad talking about him. I'm going to highlight the good things because, yes, everybody has flaws. Everybody got things we can point out as negative. But I'll tell you what, President Trump and the Republican Party is doing more good things than they are bad. And what we finding out is the bad things, so to speak, as far as politically and as it pertains to the country, that the Democrats say is bad is really good. With them, you know, it's not bad meaning bad. When they say bad, it means good. And whatever they say is good is actually bad for the country. It's just like when they say we're fighting crime, that means they're letting criminals go like crazy. We're fighting illegal immigration. Remember how long they said the border was secure? While millions poured in and they knew it. And now they're the same ones fighting for them not to be kicked out. It's insane. They're thieves, they're liars, they're manipulators, they're con artists. We already have a bad taste in our mouth for politicians, period. But let alone when we find out these folks are even worse than politicians. They're thieves, they're con artists who could care less and who manipulate on the minds of ignorant voters, ignorant Democrat voters. You know why? Because they play on the fact they know they're not going to research. They know they're not going to read. That's why they wanted the Department of Education to destroy the school system. The better you are at destroying the school system, the better you are at destroying people's comprehension and their knowledge and their understanding of history. So when people don't understand or know history, guess what? It's easy to repeat it. And when people don't understand diction and when they don't understand civics, you could tell them the president is responsible for this. And the ignorant person says, yes, Trump, why haven't you passed that law? Without realizing, fool, you have to go through Congress to pass laws. The president don't pass laws. The president can do an executive order, but that's only as good as long as they're in office. People don't know the difference between the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branches. Why? Because the Department of Education has got schools focused on transgender studies and do you feel like a boy or a girl and your feelings rather than 1 + 1 equaling 2. Their thing is, hey, we don't want to upset anybody. So if a child say 1 + 1 = 5, they say, you know what? You're right. And that's your truth. The child goes out into the real world, can't get a job, can't compete, and they love it. Because you know what that means? You got to suck on the government's you know what to get fed and to have housing, which is always going to turn out to be crappy, bare minimum. But in order to even get that, you got to keep giving that vote. So it's all outright bribery all the way around. And she was busted for bribing people straight up $1,000 a month if you make less than 75 grand a year if she got elected. As a member of Congress, there was no way she was getting that done. But the voters don't know that. Those ignorant, when I say ignorant, that only means lacking knowledge. So I wanted to bring you this story, another great story we're hearing about the Democrat downfall, and there's going to be more to come. So if you hung out with me up to this point, I thank you so much from the top and bottom of my heart. I really do. Leave a comment if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.